Part 38. Path to Heaven. Author, Wu Ziyi. Chapter 374. Chapter 374. What? Someone actually went to Yin Corp sect to roar the mountain gate, the name of the surname challenge yelling. The duel between the Golden Core stage Great Treasure Cultivator is definitely a great treasure that can shake the entire Cloud Spirit continent northern part. This kind of news, without special arrangement, is also spread fast. For a while, the shapeshift grate around Coffin City the art array spirit light kept flashing, and many of the cultivators around the city, all over to see the excitement. Vertex novels, handwriting novels. Yin Corp sect's powerful cultivator is out. The strength of Yin Corp sect is really too strong, so many masters of thought division realm and above. Awkward, among the white mist of the forest, the brilliance flashes, an amazing escape light, with a strong great treasure, from which it shines. For at least 200 or 300 years, no one dared to sneak into the front door of Yin Corp section at this moment, the cultivator above the thought division realm 3/4 layer from the Yin Corp sect mountain gate there are at least 230. Weisuo, you are looking for death yourself. Actually dare to face me, if you say this, no one can keep you. A group of blood lights, flashing in the air, a few times went to the sky above Coffin City. Yelling. Yes, Yelling came out. Weisuo, the one who came to the Yelling challenge is Weisuo, isn't he the sea immortal sex genius cultivator that won the sea hunting assembly? Has he actually formed a golden core? Weisuo is now in the northern part of heavenly profound continent, and has already had a big name. At this moment, Yelling's surging sound is heard. Many cultivators are shocked to know the origin of this challenger. Yelling, are you finally out? Since I am going to Yin Corp sect to go to the appointment, do you still need someone else's help to deal with you? Just wait for you to beat, don't call your Yin Corp sect people. Seeing Yelling's original image, Weisuo smiled and glanced around. You shouldn't rush to shoot. Now it's not enough to come out to see the fun. I said, in front of you Yin Corp sect all disciples the face, when you see this monster beast, you will only be able to play like a dog with your cowardly running away. Well, I will wait for more people to come out. I said, how dare you be so arrogant? It turned out to have broken through the golden core cultivation base. But just like your cultivation base of golden core first layer, dare to call me? Is this the strength of the great treasure cultivator of the golden core stage second layer cultivation base, so terrifying? If it's right for me, I'm afraid it's just like this. I'm scared to scare me. Coffin City all the cultivators see, Yelling in the air after the stop. Spiritual chi outside the body is condensed into a white bone great treasure tower shape, but with his hand, dense white gas from his hands rolled out, condense a giant great treasure white skull outside his body, and with his surging sound tone, the white skull head was in the air, looking like the skull of this giant great treasure. Words. Weisuo in the opposite air is a lot less than this white hoe, as if he was standing in front of a hill. Yeshidi, are you too angry outside, so that others will not put you and our Yin Corp sect at all? At this time, a cultivator wearing a silver white color with a lot of bloody rune appeared in the sky of the secret place not far from Yelling. The cultivator's hair is white, but the face looks only 4 or 50 years old, and looks like white jade. It is very handsome. Outside of this person, spiritual chi, outside of his body, is condensed a 3-inch breast-shaped witch's shape, very strange. This person is Yin Meili, one of Yin Corp sect's golden core stage great treasure cultivator. At the moment, Yin Meili's eyes have a hint of sarcasm and gloating, and it is obviously not the same as Yelling. It is Mo Qingfeng and Yin Liwa. The two golden core stage great treasure cultivators from Yin Corp sect are also here. Just in the moment of great treasure's famous Yin Meili's original album, an emerald eco light and a black escape light also flew in the air. The glamorous woman among the emerald escape light, a pair of eyes on Weisuo's, in addition to shock, full of inexplicable look, is Yin Liwa. Among the other black escape lights, there is a handsome middle-aged bald man with no face lust wearing a black shape-shift great art robe. The spiritual chi flowing from it is also black. Outside, condense a black snake shape with double heads. Great treasure thousands of worlds, no wonder, there are so many cultivators in this cultivation world, and naturally there will be some idiots who can't see their strengths and dare to be more powerful than their own. After hearing the words of Yin Meili, Yeling sneered at a surging sound, and said this very deeply to Yin Meili. I am afraid that some people overestimate themselves. Yin Meili's face did not change. She smiled at Wei Suo and smiled at Yeling. Yeshidi, you have to be careful, in our cloud spirit continent, the cultivation base is high. There are countless people who die in the hands of people with low cultivation centers. The other party has been killed on the door. Why, do you still want to fight? First, let the 200,000-300,000 cultivators, look at the jokes of our Yin Corpse sect. When Yeling's face was cold and he wanted to say something more, an unusually majestic surging sound came from the gate of Yin Corpse sect, which was introduced to Yeling, Yin Meili, Mo Qingfeng, and Yin Liwa is in the ears of 4 people. Good. I have been in charge of Yin Corpse sect for so many years. No one dares to go to the door of Yin Corpse section. You are very gutsy. You don't want all Yin Corpse sect disciple to see it? Yin Corpse sect disciple, all Yin Corpse sect disciple, watch out for the Yin Corpse sect. While Yeling and other 4 people changed slightly, an unusual macro great treasures surging sound was heard from the gate of Yin Corpse sect. As the surging sound came out, the entire coffin city trembled. A Yin Corpse sect disciple, like a locust, swept out of the gates of Yin Corpse sect. Its blood spirit old ancestor looks like this. The blood spirit old ancestor is also angry. The sea immortal sex Wei Suo, I am afraid that even if you can win Yeling, you may not be able to go. Coffin City is surrounded by all the cultivators, and I know very well that Wei Suo's move is to challenge Yeling, but in fact, it is just the face of Yin Corpse sect. What kind of sect is Yin Corpse sect? Not only does it have many Golden Core Realm great treasure cultivators, but it also has the Cloud Spirit Continent northern part, the cultivation base's highest cultivator of the Golden Core 5th layer. Such a sect, high above, is like the Emperor of the Cloud Spirit Continent northern part, the general cultivator. Even if it is oppressed by Yin Corpse sect, it can only swallow surging sound. But for now, Wei Suo is a naked provocation that compromises the dignity of Yin Corpse sect. This is not good. What to do? Even blood spirit old ancestor is angry. Wei Suo, this time you are too arrogant, and provoke a great treasure. Upon hearing the surging sound of blood spirit old ancestor, Yin Liwa's face was immediately white, and her heart was anxious. Okay, now we can start breaking between us. After listening to the sound transmission of blood spirit old ancestor, Yeling didn't dare to delay. Looking at Wei Suo, coldly made such a surging sound. Of course, but between me and you, it is because of our previous battle. If you are defeated in my hands, I will be killed. You Yin Corpse sect, it won't be in the air and deal with me. At this time, Wei Suo is still surging sound color, a faint sweep of Yeling and Yin Meili and others. You have so many Golden Core Realm great treasure cultivators, even if you don't have time to catch up, one will battle, I am sure not an opponent. Do you think you can deal with me? Just core formation, is it so mad? Yeling haha laughed wildly. Do you think that with a blood-feeding shapeshift great art knife, you can beat me? Bloodshift great art knife? This guy actually knows the origin of the bloodshift great art knife? Wei Suo has a heart. This time, he had not absorbed any cultivator chi and blood in the shapeshift great art knife. He did not use the thought of the shapeshift great art knife. At this time, there was not much vibration of great treasure, but his face was immediately put on a look of panic. I put on a stagnation. I don't need this thing, I can beat you the same Wei Suo immediately said, but the tone fell in the ears of all cultivators, but it was already significantly weaker. Sure enough, I rely on this thing. When Ye Ling heard it, he suddenly made a great treasure and sneered. Even if you use it, it is useless. You are not going to fight with me in front of so many cultivators. Since you are a younger generation, I will let you shoot first. At this time, Ye Ling's mind has already decided to give birth to Wei Suo's idea. All right. In Coffin City, the crowded cultivator is full of onlookers. In the sky, Wei Suo slammed his teeth and sacrificed the flying sword. Then he took the golden shapeshift great art great treasure from Ruyi exquisite pagoda and little heavenly realm. Under the golden and yellow magnificent light flashes, the giant great treasure's flying sword, immediately smashed toward Ye Ling. Hong! The flying sword was smothered, and suddenly gave the impression that a giant mountain was suppressed in the air. The air in front of it exploded all round, and there were countless amazing waves. This flying sword is so powerful. Under Coffin City, the dense cultivator, which is part of the great treasure, suddenly felt the amazing powerful energy like a prison when the sword was strangled. At the Wei Suo Thought Division Realm 4th Layer Cultivation Base, the flying sword was applied. The flying sword has reached the power of the Dao rank middle grade. Now the cultivation base of the Wei Suo Golden Core 1st Layer is displayed, and the flying sword is powerful. Energy, obviously has reached the powerful energy of equivalent to Dao rank high grade shapeshift great art great treasure. Such insignificant ability. Just like your flying sword, I want to hurt me? However, Ye Ling's eyes twitched slightly, and between his body's blood light, his figure disappeared from the place when the flying sword was killed. It reappeared after dozens of feet. Path to Heaven. Author, Wu Ziyi. Chapter 375. 5 million inferior spirit stones. What is this piece? Li Dao actually has to buy such amazing spirit stones. Upon hearing Wei Suo's direct shouting of 5 million inferior spirit stones, the Confucius in the blue shirt finally couldn't sit still, and suddenly his face changed and sat up. 5 million. The face of the young man in the white robe also changed slightly. The previous who didn't put others in his eyes completely disappeared without a trace. This person actually has more spirit stones than me. Lin, it seems that I was careless before spending a lot of money. Now the spirit stones are less than 5 million. This thing is to be used for this. The man bought it. The young man in the white robe glanced at the white unicorn suspended in front of him, his eyes flashing, but his face was not half frustrated. If you want to fight me, it is absolutely impossible. With so many spirit stones, it seems that this person really knows the value of this thing. Impossible, Bai Kailan snarled in a low voice. Even in the ancient world of monastery, few people know the wonderful tree fragments. And even if this wonderful tree fragment is obtained, there is no special means of refining, there is no use. So, then there is only one more possibility. The young man in white robe sneered and looked at the VIP box where Wei Suo was located. If this person had received the overhaul of Taoism from an ancient overhaul, he would either like me, I have an instrument like you. It should only work that way. Bai Kailan shook the whole body. This person is ready to form a pill. The spirit stone in his hand is so amazing. If there is a spirit, it may not be under you. The young man in white robe looked at Bai Kailan and smiled. How is it possible? I was made by the king of Waterlin, and at that time it was already the top-level instrument spirit, and could it be compared with other non-influent instrument spirits? Bai Se Unicorn seems to be insulted, growled low. I just made a joke with you, Lin Wang. We must deal with this person immediately. The young man in the white robe caressed the white seal in his hand. Otherwise, it may cause serious problems. Bai Se Kiran nodded with great dignity. Okay, we will go out immediately afterwards, guarding outside. Anyway, the monk who is approaching Jidan, I can definitely distinguish it quickly. 5 million inferior spirit stones, this time the other party is estimated to be directly frightened. Mysterious tree fragments. I can't think of a real wonderful tree fragment in this auction. Only a small piece of white shards the size of a finger was sent into Wei Suo's VIP box by Qing Shui Confucian. The price of these 5 million inferior spirit stones is really amazing. Li Daiyu, what the is this? You have to spend so many spirit stones to buy it. The eyes of the Confucian Qing were filled with shocking gods. This piece of material is a peculiar material, very rare, and it is useful for my exercises. After Wei Suo explained the sentence casually, he delivered the crystal symbol and spirit stone equivalent of 5 million inferior spirit stones. I gave the blue shirt Confucian and directly collected this piece of wonderful tree. The king's treasurer, I have an urgent matter to leave immediately. In order to prevent others from seeing my whereabouts. When I leave, please help me close the venue immediately. For a moment, let no one in or out. It is good. The Confucius in the blue shirt followed Wei Suo and went out immediately. Senior Lin, please wait a moment. The mysterious young man in white robe had just opened the door of the VIP box, and was immediately stopped by a disciple of Wang Jia business. What's the matter? The young man in white robe frowned. The disciple of this Wang Jia firm only felt that an invisible coercion overwhelmed him. It seemed that he felt stared at by an inexplicably powerful ancient monster, and his heart was cold. But this disciple of Wang Jia firm was still. Chiang smiled a little and said, there are some accidents in the prohibition of the auction venue, so the shopkeeper is particularly confessed. Please invite all the VIPs to wait for a moment, so as not to move and touch the prohibition. There was an accident in the prohibition. The young man in the white robe blinked, and there seemed to be something reacting. He snorted heavily, and a stronger pressure came out of him, making the disciple of this Wang Jia business firm involuntarily took a few steps back. A good ban, how could there be an accident? Do you think I'm stupid? I'm in a hurry, I want to leave immediately. If you dare to stop it again, don't blame me for being polite. What's up? At the same time as the cold hum of the young man in white robe, the voice of the Confucius in the blue shirt rang, and immediately, the figure of the Confucian in the blue shirt appeared at one end of the corridor. Wang dispensers, this Senior Lin has an urgent matter to leave immediately. His face was white, and a cold sweat. Disciple of the Wang Jia business firm said immediately. Since that is the case, please invite Senior Lin to follow me. The Confucian Qing said nothing and nodded. The young man in white robe didn't say anything. He followed the Qing Confucian scholar blankly and walked out of the auction hall. After leaving the venue, the young man in white robe turned around, glanced at the Confucian sage, and suddenly asked, Wang Zhang, the monk who bid for the piece of white shard with me, is it still in the auction at the moment? Oh, did you say that the monk? The Confucian Qing shook his head, glanced at the young man in white robe, and said, he has already had an emergency, so he left first. The monk walked very hurriedly, it didn't explain to us, and it ran into some prohibitions. Does the king's shopkeeper know the origin of this monk? The young man in white robe glanced at the Confucian scholar Qing and asked. I don't know very well the origin of this monk. The Confucian Qing grinned embarrassedly. And our Wang's firm has rules, even if we know, we can't reveal any information about the guests. Okay, then there will be king owner. The young man in white robe didn't say anything and turned away from the auction. Lin Wang, this person's movements are so fast, it seems that this person is extremely intelligent, it is not easy to deal with. After about 100 feet away, the young man in white robe played with white clothes. Xiao Yin sneered. Master, I think this Wang's firm must have something to do with this monk. By Se Kiran's voice immediately rang. It's natural, would I believe their gibberish? The young man in white robe snorted coldly, I'm not in a hurry now. When I find a place to fully refine the deep water Qianjiao, and then take it from this Wang Jia firm, inquire about this person's news. Zhang Hanlin, what's the matter? At this time, Wei Suo was already with Zhang Hanlin, close to Haixianzong mountain gate. At this time, Zhang Hanlin also dressed up as a bearded monk, completely unable to see the previous appearance. Elder Wei, Brother Yun, and a casual repairer had a conflict and went into the Zongmen. Now the elders will not rule. To be able to pass you before you can make a decision. What is this loose repair, what is the backing, and what exactly is the conflict? After Wei Suo entered the mountain gate of Haixianzong, he poured the liquid medicine from a pill bottle on his face. The purple light on his body restored his original appearance. After reading the jade amulet left by the ancestor Xuanhuan, Wei Suo already knew that if something happened to the disciple Zongmen, an elder could decide. But if it is a matter of great importance, it is necessary to convene a Presbyterian meeting, which is decided by more than 5 elders. If even the Presbyterian Church can't make up their minds, it is to mobilize the elders, take charge of the elders, and even the suzerain. And if the casual repairer does not have a big background and a big backing, there must be no need to make such a point. The Sangsu is a disciple of the Yinzhou Sanren. The Yingsu Sanren is a Jindan monk in the Vowel city. The Sangsu was in conflict with Brother Yun in the extinction of the West Sea. He was beaten by Brother Yun. He was seriously injured and now comes to the door. That silver hook is scattered. How much is Jindan's cultivation practice? Wei Suo asked immediately. It's Jindan's most important practice. Oh, Wei Suo's eyes flickered, and it seemed that he had thought about it immediately. Not much to say, swept up. Elder Wei is here. The figure of Wei Suo quickly appeared in a hall. At this time, in this hall with many tall jade dragon seats, 9 elders were seated. These 9 elders, except for the great elder of the Si Muan, did not see the other 8. The next elder of the 9 elders stood a disciple of a silver-shirt Haixian sect with a pale face. Next to the disciple of Haixianzong, 3 monks were sitting on 3 chairs. A middle-aged man in the middle of the age of 27, with a narrow face, wearing a purple python robe, had a bleeding trace on his chest, and his breath was fragile. The one on the left is wearing a verdant coat and is very strong, about 30 years old. The one on the right is a middle-aged, chunky monk with a bright red face and wearing a bright yellow vest. Have seen elders? Wei Suo nodded at the 9 elders. It was a hello, and he glanced at the disciples who had a pale face, and asked quietly, in the end, what is it? This Taoist is named Nangong Dai, and he is a disciple of Yin Ho San. He said that our Haixian sect disciple Yun Ben was killing the Zihai and attacked him. Yin Ho San is a Jindan monk. An elder Haixianzong with gray hair and wrinkled face, did not shy away, and made it clear in a few words. This elder is the elder of Haixianzong. Among the elders present, his status is only under Great Elder and Wei Suo. But Yun Ben said that it was Nangong Dai who used words to stimulate him first, and then acted against him first. He was just forced to fight back. A tall elder with a bare top of his head immediately added. A nonsense, the elder's words just fell, and Nangong Dai, who was wearing a purple python robe, immediately cried out. There are 2 Dao friends who have seen this matter with their own eyes. A Daoist is simply sin plus 1 grade. Oh, I don't know what the origin of the 2 Dao friends is. Wei Suo looked at Nangong Dai, but he didn't say anything. He looked at the 2 foreign monks, especially his eyes. The monk paused for a moment and asked such a sentence. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Path to Heaven. Author, Wu Zy. Chapter 376. Chapter 376 is too embarrassing. This is not good. Wei Suo's at the same time as the Golden Core, the blood spirit old ancestor in the Yin Corp sect mountain door seemed to feel something at once, and his face changed and his eyes opened. Vertex novels, handwriting novels. Immediately, the blood light flashed, and the figure of blood spirit old ancestor disappeared immediately from the dark yellow great treasure seat that radiated from the ancient wild. How, yelling, I told you that my golden core will be scared to death. Look at you, now scared the urine out. Wei Suo looked at his face with a smug look, and looked at Yeling, haha smile with a look of burning. Without the slightest stop, the glow of his old golden treasure's purple golden core condenses the shape of an ancient heavenly dragon. Yeling is going to have a bloody spit. He is now amazed by the horror, but there is a possibility that even the urine will flow out. But at the moment he didn't even have a chance to speak, because at this time he didn't even have time to retract the golden core. Wei Suo golden core sunlight condensed the ancient heavenly dragon, which had already slammed into the white bone of his golden core sunlight condense. Lotus. Kaka. For a while, heaven shaking's cracking surging sound, I saw almost only 1/3 of the ancient heavenly dragon, the small white bone lotus was directly crushed by the hard. What is this Wei Suo cultivation? What is shapeshift great art? Is it heaven level mid-level shapeshift great art? How? Golden core first layer cultivation bases golden core sunlight, the powerful energy is even stronger than the golden core second layer cultivation bases golden core sunlight. Yeling can't take back the golden core. Then the golden core hits the golden core. The golden core hits the golden core. It is the life of the golden core stage cultivator. The strongest means we don't see at all. What kind of power will golden core hit? All these thoughts are in the blink of an eye, flashing in the minds of countless cultivators inside and outside Coffin City. Pay papa pa. In the sky, the purple heavenly dragon smashed the white bone lotus in one fell swoop, exploding in the sky with numerous sword-like astral winds. Immediately, purple heavenly dragon and Wei Suo's golden core hit the Yi's golden core. Hong. The purple heavenly dragon also burst instantly, and the two naked cores of the golden core crashed together. The collision between the golden core and the golden core is like a collision between two giant mountains. This kind of powerful energy, not the golden core stage cultivator, can withstand it. At this moment, a circle of astral wind and a substantial sound wave, from the secret place of two golden core impacts, the entire Coffin City, seems to have been hammered by the invisible giant hammer, the ground the stones are all jumping. Be fooled, the idea of holding this child at the beginning is to lead me to the golden core, and then use the golden core to hit my golden core. At this time, Yeling's head is very clear, but now he has no choice at all. Ka. Without any suspense, rune on the Yeling golden core will all be broken. Pu Yeling's naked body shook, and a blood spurted out of the mouth. His golden core was directly hit by Wei Suo's golden core and flew backwards. This is not good. Yin Meili, Mo Qingfeng, and others who watched the battle in the distant secret place all changed their faces. This kind of golden core impact, the unsuccessful side, not only the flesh, even the golden core cultivation base, suffers from extreme great treasure damage. Come, Yeling. Come again, I said that I want to beat you like a dog. Ka. However, without any stop, Wei Suo's golden core caught up directly and slammed into Yeling's golden core. Pu. This time, some of the light lines that have just emerged from Yeling's golden core are all broken up. Yeling's naked body is like a twitching tremor, and a blood squirts from his mouth. Come out. Wei Suo's golden core powerful energy is much better than Yeling's strong great treasure. This kind of hard collision, completely spelled is golden core, Yeling more means, and there is no shadow shift great art exhibition, nothing else, all cannot be used. Yeling is really being played like a dog with such a golden core bombardment. Yeling will be directly killed by hard work once or twice. This battle will certainly be recorded in the classics and passed on to future generations. A cultivator from the golden core stage first layer, a top-grade great sect like Yin Corp sect called Lushan Gate, and the cultivator of the golden core stage second layer. Wei Suo, as long as this time can successfully leave Yin Corp sect, there will be incredible achievements in the future. His cultivation base is only 20 years old, it's just that he is so arrogant. In front of all the cultivators of Yin Corp sect, killing a golden core stage second layer cultivator, Yin Corp sect will definitely not let him go. Inside and outside Coffin City, 230,000, all the onlookers of the cultivator, are filled with an incredible look. That's. But at this moment, a figure, but suddenly, appeared from the gate of Yin Corp's sect, as if pushing a hollow door, with the flash of light, all of a sudden appeared in front of everyone. The sudden appearance of the figure, body seems to have no what spiritual chi, condensed out of what shape, but above the top of the head, but is shaking a large great treasure red light, from time to condense into a 10 Zhang's forearm 3 head of the devil, looks like an ancient demon god, suddenly came to the world, extremely terrifying. The power of this person is stronger than any golden core stage cultivator present. The pressure exerted on it is completely overwhelming. Its blood spirit old ancestor. Cultivation base of golden core 5th layer. Just one step away, he can break through to divine mystic realm and build the real divine mystic shapeshift great art. He hasn't known Yin Corp sect for many years, and now it's all out. Yes, the cultivator of the golden core stage second layer is the backbone for any sect, and Yeling is said to be very likely to be the next generation of Yin Corp sect master. Of course, the blood spirit old ancestor is also impossible. Watching him be in front of the mountain gate, he was killed. Blood spirit old ancestor is coming out, it will definitely start, I can't think of him coming out, Wei Suo is terrible. Upon seeing blood spirit old ancestor, Yin Liwa's face suddenly turned white, and the naked body trembled. The winners and losers have already been divided. Even if you are Xuanhuan old ancestor of Sea Immortal sect, don't dare to let me go before me. Why, do you still want to kill me in front of me? The Suprijing treasure's surging sounds like a thunder in the air, just like the ancient demon gods coming to the world's blood spirit old ancestor, extending his right hand to the direction of Wei Suo and Yeling, volley grab. At this time, there was at least 1,000 feet between blood spirit old ancestor and Wei Suo, but under the smash of blood spirit old ancestor, all the people saw the clouds above Wei Suo and Yeling and suddenly broke open. The blood claw of a giant great treasure, with a height of 78 feet and a small treasure, was caught at Wei Suo and Yeling. Blood spirit old ancestor is not afraid of his own blood loss, direct shot. Is the rumor of his Dan Pain cultivator false? The ancient devil blood claw. Blood spirit old ancestor is too toxic. His surgery, shapeshift great art, is more than to save Yeling. It is clear that you want to kill this Wei Suo. Blood giant old ancestor's giant great treasure, the blood claws came out and fell down. Almost all the cultivators in Coffin City's appearance warfare felt difficulty breathing, and all the cultivators at this time can be seen, blood spirit old shapeshift great art, such as ancestor, simply doesn't want to give Wei Suo a living. Why, blood spirit old ancestor, even your identity, have to deal with a younger generation like me. In the sky, the air of Wei Suo around the body was smashed, but the look on his face was still not much changed. I saw him reach out and a brilliance of brilliance. In an instant, this brilliance inflated infinitely, bursting out a line of light, and flying out countless optical symbols, origin chi. It is like a danwan, which instantly expands and becomes a comet. What's that? Is he blue the golden core? Impossible, his golden core, obviously has been recovered. The gaze of all cultivators has completely solidified at this moment. Hong. A devastating force, a constant explosion, eventually turned into a black-red light group with a huge great treasure. The giant black treasure is incomparably black and red, and instantly hits the huge grease treasure with the blood claws. At the same time, the amazing powerful energy also hits Yeling. Ah! Yeling's screaming surging sound was directly annihilated in heaven-shaking surging sound. Blood spirit old ancestor's giant great treasure, the blood claws, was directly blown up, and Yeling's golden core was also blown up with numerous fine cracks. Immediately, I saw Wei Suo Mystic Fiend's claws, and directly rolled the golden core, with the body of Yeling, in front of him. Under the grasp of Mystic Fiend's claws, Yeling, who had already been hit hard to fight back, was black and black, without any anger. Yeling is dead. Ah! Yeling was killed by Wei Suo. Under the eyes of all the cultivators of Yin Corpse sect, he was killed. What is this shapeshift great art, great treasure? The power terrifying to this extent, even the shadow spirit old ancestors' shapeshift great art, can withstand. The cultivator of the golden core second layer is directly killed by the cultivator of the golden core first layer. Inside and outside Coffin City, the cold-sounding surging sound sounded like a piece. Wei Suo. A bloody origin chi, from blood spirit old ancestor, is arrogant, and it is clear that blood spirit old ancestor at the moment is already extremely angry. Pu. But at this time, in the sternly shouted surging sound of blood spirit in Anantar's killing intent, Wei Suo took out a black knife with no surface lust, and did not stop at all, inserted Yeling's chest. Wei Suo's actions and demeanor made all the cultivators that had been completely shaken, and could not help but stunned. This guy is too embarrassing. Great treasures. Most of the cultivators' minds have come up with such thoughts. Path to Heaven. Author, Wu Ziyi. Chapter 377. Chapter 377 has been touched. If it wasn't for blood spirit old ancestor, Yeling really wanted to be beaten like a dog. This guy used to be bullied. I don't know how many cultivators have suffered under his hand, and he is afraid to swallow surging sound. I can't think of it today. Vertex novels hit the novel. It's obvious that Yeling has been killed by his surgery shapeshift great art. Now he has to put in a knife. What does he want to do? I don't think the Immortal sect has such a strange character. The former Yuan Sex O Ranman is a genius. Now, compared with this Wei Suo, there is no comparison with shapeshift great art. No wonder it will die in Wei Suo's hands. For a time, all the inside and outside of Coffin City were in a deadlock. All the cultivators were blinking and see what would happen next. From rushing to Coffin City, called Lushan Gate, and now blocked by blood spirit old ancestor, Yeling was killed directly. Wei Suo gave all the cultivators a shock. It was too great treasure. Yin Meili, Mo Qingfeng, these two Yin Corpse Sex Golden Core stage great treasure cultivator, the heart is also cool. Originally, Yin Meili and Yeling did not match each other. It was also because the two men were fighting in section. They wanted to be the next Sin Master of Yin Corpse section. The Ye Wushang cultivation base rank second in the Yin Corpse sect. Cultivation base was high, but just for himself. Painstaking cultivation, Yin Meili and Yeling, among the Yin Corpse sect, are the most surging sounds, the best means of embracing people and managing disciples. It is reasonable to say that if Yeling is killed, Yin Meili will be very happy, but at the moment, Yin Meili is filled with the idea of killing Wei Suo. Because Wei Suo's strength is too abnormal, especially at such an age, it is definitely a great treasure. If you see him in the future, you can only detour. In the history of Cloud Spirit Continent, for the first time in 500 or 600 years, there was a cultivator of Golden Core second layer. In the eyes of the public, it was due to a cultivator of Golden Core first layer and was hit by the cultivator of Golden Core first layer. Kill, and the cultivator of the Golden Core first layer has not suffered any damage. Whether it is Yin Meili or Mo Qingfeng, I can be sure in my heart that it is the same for me to change myself, and it is also the same to be killed by Wei Suo. I don't think he is so powerful, but blood spirit old ancestor has already killed his heart. I don't know what he still has. Only Yin Liwa's heart is a surprise intercourse plus, but the face does not dare to show reveals. Wei Suo, you dare to do this after I have stopped the surging sound. You want to leave Enron now? After the blood spirit old ancestor sternly shouted a surging sound Wei Suo's name, the surging sound sounded again and again. As he spoke, Countless mists spun around him and began to become a giant great treasure. Swirl. That's awesome. This is the breath of the body's breath, resulting in such a changing variation scenery. The cultivator just below the blood spirit old ancestor and Weisuo, the turbulent turmoil, began to escape quickly, lest the two golden core stage great treasure cultivators, especially the half-divine mystic realm high manual hand like blood spirit old ancestor get up, fish and pond fish. Generally, the cultivator of thought division realm, except for the defensive shapeshift great art great treasure above Deo rank middle grade, is the real small shrimp in front of the cultivators such as blood spirit old ancestor, just a Deo technique shapeshift great art. It is easy to crush. And look at the blood spirit old ancestor, and directly apply the shapeshift great art. The divine consciousness pressure may be pressed even if the cultivator of the golden core stage first layer second layer is slow, but I don't know now. Weisuo, but why it seems that it has not been affected. Blood spirit old ancestor, I and Yeling, are fair and respectful, irreconcilable until death, and it is normal. If I lost to Yeling, would he let me go? Coffin City has so many cultivators, you can see clearly, your Deo technique shapeshift great art, not just want to save Yeling, but by the way want to kill me, your identity, deal with me this younger generation I only rely on such a shapeshift great art great treasure to resist. Now, in your capacity, do you still have to deal with me personally? Even if you win me, I am afraid you will be ridiculed by the entire Cloud Spirit Continent cultivator. Or are you trying to get so many people from Yin Corp's sect? If so many people are simply arriving, I can't resist it, but I am not afraid of you except me. Weisuo looked at blood spirit old ancestor without hesitation, but a group of purple, red, and white brilliance, but slowly rose from his right hand palm. Golden core. Is his work shapeshift great art capable of repairing two golden cores? Idiot, where the shapeshift great art can build two golden cores, this thing is obviously the shapeshift great art great treasure made with golden core. Only when he used to resist blood spirit old ancestor, it should be such a shapeshift great art great treasure. Things like this seem to be more powerful than the self-destructive golden core. It seems that the cultivator of the golden core first layer second layer has to be directly blown up and dead. How many people do he have in this way? If there is a dozen or 20 on his body, Yin Corp sect is probably going to plant a great treasure. I saw the heart of Weisuo's palm, the second annihilation golden core he made with Yao Sanzan's golden core. The annihilation golden core emerged from his hands and suddenly caused an exclamation of the sea. Ah, still. This thing seems to be more terrifying than the previous one. Forget it, I am not an opponent, or don't fight with him. Wait until my culture is able to withstand such things. At this time, a cultivator who had just been out of the Yin Corp sect mountain gate, whose hair and beard were tangled together, did not know how many years had not been repaired, and could not even see it, immediately swallowed his mouth and shook shaking his head, immediately turned around and swept back to a deep tunnel that he had just plucked. The spiritual chi, which is circulated from the cultivator, is golden, and the condense looks like a golden bell. It has a much stronger breath than Yeling. Needless to say, this person is definitely Yin Corp sex culture madman Ye Wushang. And listening to his self-speaking surging sound, this person's sexual lust, it is very straightforward, it seems that there is not much movement. Good. For the first time I saw you like a younger generation of great treasure. I only started, not because of your battle with Yeling, but because you are guilty of roaring my Yin Corp section since you have resisted my move. In my capacity, it is not good to deal with you. At that time, I will naturally arrange for the junior disciple and see immortal sect to find you. But Yeling's body, you can't take it away, leaving Yeling's body, I will let you leave Coffin City. Blood spirit old ancestors surging sounds rolling. Ah! Blood spirit old ancestor actually gave in? Blood spirit old ancestor is just a cultivator for all the appearances in Coffin City. It's all dumbfounded. It feels like a more great treasure of the great treasure drama, but suddenly the protagonist announced to go home to eat, not the same. It seems that the rumors are true. Blood spirit old ancestor has been rushing to attack divine mystic realm, but his work, shapeshift great art, is too powerful, not doing shapeshift great art and people's intense intercourse hands, otherwise they are also the mud bodhisattva crosses the river and it is difficult to protect itself. The great treasure half of the cultivator, also immediately reflected, blood spirit old ancestor's murderous intention, anyone can feel, such as the character of blood spirit old ancestor, naturally impossible because of Wei Suo's words, can be eloquent change the mind that wants to kill Wei Suo's. He said this, still find a step for himself, and avoid the strength of Wei Suo's. Well, just bother Coffin City's cultivator and be a witness. Today, blood spirit old ancestor said that he had to arrange for the junior disciple and find him on C Immortal Sect, then I will wait. Wei Suo smiled lightly. After saying this, he waved his hand and threw Yeling's body directly in front of blood spirit old ancestor. All Yin Corpse sect cultivator, back to Yin Corpse sect, let him leave Coffin City. Blood spirit old ancestor under the red light, his figure and the body of Yeling disappeared from the place, and the red light flashed again and disappeared into the gate of Yin Corpse sect. And listening to his surging sound, the other Yin Corpse sect's cultivator did not dare to stay in the slightest, all face ugly and swept back to Yin Corpse sect. Yin Liwa did not speak. After seeing Wei Suo, he turned and flew back to the gate of Yin Corpse sect. But when she looked at Wei Suo's, her mouth moved a few times. Looking at her mouth and the look in her eyes, Wei Suo saw that she was talking to herself at the moment, your great treasure stuff. Amazing. After the cultivators of blood spirit old ancestor and Yin Corpse sect all slid back to the gate of Yin Corpse sect, the whole scene was deserted. Wei Suo did not stop at all and fell. Later, he and Ji Ya went into the transmission of the shapeshift great art array and disappeared into the spirit light that sent the shapeshift great art array. All the cultivators inside and outside Coffin City were full of shock and watched Wei Suo leave. Before Wei Suo left, there were few people who moved and stood still. Hong. When Wei Suo's figure disappeared from the spirit light of the shapeshift great art array and disappeared with half stick of incense, the whole Coffin City was completely boiled. This heaven-shaking battle has already settled. But all the cultivators present are very clear, and today's battle will definitely become a legend in the history of Cloud Spirit Continent. In this battle, they were fortunate enough to see everything from start to finish. Ah! Kid, in front of me, I still dare to play with such hands and feet, I will not kill you, swear not to be human. At this time, in the giant hall of blood spirit old ancestor, the roaring surging sound of blood spirit old ancestor sounded. At this time Yeling's body is in front of blood spirit old ancestor, and Li Ling's treasure receiving pocket is in the hands of blood spirit old ancestor. But in this treasure receiving pocket, it is empty, nothing. Wei Suo didn't know when, the things in the Yeling treasure receiving pocket had been sneaked away, and even blood spirit old ancestor didn't notice. Path to Heaven. Author, Wu Ziyi. Chapter 378. Chapter 378, God's Secret Place Opponent. What? Elder Wei directly challenged Yeling at Yin Corpse sect, and killed Yeling in the case of lust blocked by blood spirit old ancestor. What to do, great elder, if you want shapeshift great art to notify old ancestor, blood spirit old ancestor will definitely not let us go to see immortal section Vertex novels hit the novel. It's too impulsive, Elder Wei is too young, impulsive, to deal with Yeling, and can't directly kill the mountain gate, it's like a naked face playing blood spirit old ancestor. Inside the gate of C Immortal sect, in the temple where the Presbyterian church was last held, more elders were gathered. Most elders of great treasure, when referring to Yeling, Wei Suo, and blood spirit old ancestor, unbearable bursts of sorrow, his face is a look that will soon be ushered in. Don't worry. The face of the great elder has never been talking before, Now watching the great treasure, most elders have stopped, they are watching him with eager eyes, waiting for him to take the idea. Great elder waved his hand, not too slow said it, killing has been killed, and it is useless. Elder Wei did this, and it was inevitable that blood spirit old ancestor and Yin Corp sect wanted to deal with him and RC Immortal sect, but Elder Wei has now returned to RC Immortal sect, who killed Yeling. Unbeatable and unrelentingly coming back, it must be that blood spirit old ancestor wants to deal with him and can't handle it. But even if you can't deal with it, on the bright side, Yin Corp sect's power is so great treasure, and it's hard to bear with it. RC Immortal sect is unbearable. On the one hand, the chief of Shapeshift Great Art, said very thickly. Elders, think about it, RC Immortal sect, the most great treasure of the previous income, comes from the spiritual stones income of spiritual chi in the city. Now RC Immortal sect's spiritual vein has dried up, and now the most great treasure income comes from West Extinction C. This West Extinction C, also equivalent to Elder Wei, helped us on the Sea Hunting Assembly. Great Elder continued to say, now, in addition to Old Ancestor and Elder Wei, Li Elder is the Golden Core Cultivator. Now that we are sect, it is already a Golden Core stage great treasure cultivator. Yin Corp sect now counts Blood Spirit Old Ancestor. There are only 3 Golden Core stage great treasure cultivators, and there is no golden one except Blood Spirit Old Ancestor. Core Cultivator is the opponent of Elder Wei. If you stalk each other's cultivator outside, it's Elder Wei alone, and the other party can't handle it. So Yin Corp's sect, it is impossible to have the action of great treasure. Don't bother Old Ancestor now, so as not to disturb his closed-door cultivation. Great Elder said it was good. The Shadow Shift Great Art Elder bounced and nodded immediately. Many elders also immediately breathed a sigh of relief. Elder Wei did this. Now RC Immortal sect's surging sound is the best in centuries, bringing a good secret place to great treasure, so now we have to think about it, not worrying about Yin Corp sect's revenge. Instead, try to help Elder Wei, as long as Elder Wei's divine ability and cultivation base go up. Even if Yin Corp sect has a few more Golden Core cultivators, it doesn't matter. Great Elder continued. This is the truth. Great Elder said that almost all the elders of C Immortal sect had their brows stretched out. An elder with a dark green shapeshift great art and a wrinkled face immediately stood up and reached for a hand and threw a jade box in front of a C Immortal sect disciple outside the temple. This good fortune Dao pill, send it to Elder Wei. Elder Xiao, you are really willing. If that is the case, then I will send this piece to Elder Wei. An old man wearing a golden shapeshift great art robe nodded and saw a piece of golden wood and threw it to the C Immortal sect disciple. C Immortal sect's punishment Grand Elder Wei Suo core formation was successful, only 20 years old, or heaven level great shape, and it was killed by Yin Corp's sect, killing the cultivator Yeling of the Golden Core second layer. Just as C Immortal sect killed Yeling for Wei Suo and held the great treasure elders, there was a bright yellow singular glow in the upper sky, in the shaking of the great treasure city. One wearing the young cultivator of the white shapeshift great art suit stopped. The young man is more than 20 years old, dashing eyebrows star, looks very handsome, playing with a little white jade unicorn in his hand, giving a very noble, secret place superior feeling. This young man, at the auction, was the young man of the secret place who was competing with Wei Suo for the wonderful tree. Now his city is the city of Cloud Spirit Continent northern part. The city of Shakespeare is a kind of rock that can refine the shapeshift great art of the illusory light. The halo that keeps shaking in the sky above the city is exactly it is formed by the ray of light reflected in the nearby naked body of the mountain. At this time, Wei Suo formed a golden core, killing Yeling's news, and it has already reached the city of Xuanhuan, shaking the city. The cultivator in every corner is talking about this matter. To the secret place are heard Wei the word Suo Yeling. Kailan King, I don't think we have to spend any effort to find the golden wind loose practitioner. What do you think? The god secret place young man, who was originally a walk, walked towards a shapeshift great art in the city. But after hearing such a surging sound, the young man of the secret place stopped and said something like this. In his sentence, the surging sound was gathered in a secret place, and it was introduced into the small white print in the hand, and it was not transmitted at all. Master, you said it is good. The white unicorn's very majestic surging sound immediately came out from the white seal. In the 20s, culture heaven level, shapeshift great art, it became a golden core. This speed is not under you. Ordinary cultivator, how is it possible? And just took the gold Deo pill, see immortal sect is immediately core formation, how could it be so smart? We should be on the Wang family business and the cultivator, the wonderful tree fragments, it should be down this person. Just core formation kills the cultivator of the golden core second layer. It seems that this person's divine ability is not small. God's secret place. The young man in white smiled and said, go, we will go back to see immortal city to meet him. If you want to get rid of this person and take back the shards of the tree, I am afraid that this person will become the enemy of my most great treasure in the future. After saying this, the God's secret place white young man immediately went back to a transmission of shapeshift great art, which he had just stepped out of. In the strange eyes of the guardian shapeshift great art cultivator, the young man in the secret place white returned through the shapeshift great art array. Then, I saw the God's secret place. The young man in white also passed through the shapeshift great art array one after another. It took only a moment to return to see immortal city. After returning to see immortal city, the young man in the secret place was not impatient. Like a stroll, he walked into the Wang family business. After a while, he was a black-shirted Wang family firm disciple, who followed him with respect. Got out. Senior Lin. The seemingly savvy Wang family firm disciple followed the God's secret place. After the young man walked into a remote alley, he seemed to want to ask the God's secret place. Young man, what is going to help, but only see the God's secret place. The young man smiled and reached out. Suddenly a white light shot into the forehead of the disc family of the Wang family firm. Ah! The disc of the Wang family firm was shaking, and the face immediately showed an extremely painful look, but only for a moment. The disc of the Wang family firm was restored as usual, and then turned around without saying a word. Go out. It seems that the disciple of this Wang family firm has been directly controlled by the God's secret place white young man. The shapeshift great art in C immortal city is logically recorded by the pass, and the spirit light issued on the pass will change. But I don't know why, this kind of secret place young man's shapeshift great art, but it seems that it has not been touched by the passing charm. After watching the disciple of the Wang family business, the young man in the secret place smiled and walked out of C immortal city without delay. I don't think of yelling, this guy has so many white bones cold fire. At this time, Wei Suo was already in his C immortal sect's residence, counting out what was found in Yeling's treasure receiving pocket. He was in the Yao Sanzan golden core refining of the annihilation golden core, secretly touched Yeling treasure receiving pocket things, because at that time even blood the attention of spirit old ancestor was attracted by the annihilation golden core of the power terrifying, so it was not noticed Wei Suo the body of Yeling back to him, but treasure the re-receiving pocket has been secretly emptied of the empty. This time, Wei Suo can be very much harvested on Yeling. Not only did he get a golden core that can be used to refine the annihilation golden core, but even the blood-feeding shapeshift great art knife was reabsorbed into chi and blood, and this chi and blood is also a cultivator of the golden core second layer. The power of the enemy, I am afraid it will not be worse than the annihilation golden core. In addition, Yeling's 2 pieces of Deo rank high-grade golden shapeshift great art great treasure, naturally fell into the hands of Wei Suo's. What Wei Suo didn't think of was that there were 5 white bones cold fires in Yeling's treasure receiving pocket. So the white bones cold fire on Wei Suo adds up to a total of 11. As long as there are 5 more, you can get a condense of a white bones underworld fire, which can be used to sacrifice the shapeshift great art great treasure. In the spiritual stones bag from the Yaling treasure receiving pocket, there are also 800,000 spiritual stones around the spiritual stones. The spiritual stones on Weisuo are also almost the same, just to complement the Weisuo's spiritual stones bag. In addition to these things, there is only one black jade talisman left in the Yaling treasure receiving pocket. I saw Weisuo pick up the white bones cold fire and the 2 gold shapeshift great art great treasures, and immediately picked up the black jade talisman. Black bone dark lord. Divine consciousness swept away, and Weisuo's eyes flicked. This black jade talisman is also a piece of ancient talisman for memorizing, but it is not recorded in it, but it is not the shapeshift great art that Weisuo expects, but a kind of black bone. The shapeshift great art of the Dark Lord's shapeshift great art great treasure. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Path to Heaven. Author, Wu Ziyi. Chapter 379. Chapter 379 A bunch of good things. Yaling's shadow shift great art is obviously at least the heaven level great grade, and the divine consciousness impact, and the most critical is the great treasure range. Coverage of shapeshift great art. Vertex novels, handwriting novels. Weisuo now has a great treasure coverage of shapeshift great art, and only Golden Snake Thunder Secret Arts Chaotic Dance of Golden Snakes. The scope and power of this chaotic dance of golden snakes is still not enough for Weisuo's current cultivation base. To be honest, Weisuo, if faced with 2 or 30 thought division realm cultivators, if there is a great shift scope of such a great treasure, such as Ghost Treasure Sword, it may be a face of a great treasure. The cultivator didn't do the shapeshift great art attack, only self-protection, and then Weisuo should be able to put so many cultivators down. But without such a powerful level of the great treasure range covering shapeshift great art, so many thought division realm cultivator besieged, Weisuo's lust will be very bad, and there is a great treasure may be killed. Shapeshift great art, Weisuo, of course, is very coveted. Now, this piece of jade talisman is not the Dao technique shapeshift great art that he hopes. Weisuo's heart, of course, is a bit small. Disappointed. Black Bone Dark Lord, you can refine the cultivator and monster beast's cheekbones into shapeshift great art great treasure. This shapeshift great art great treasure's powerful energy can actually achieve this level? Is this what Yaling is refining in Yin Corp's sect? But after reading the contents of this black jade talisman, in the eyes of Weisuo's, it turned out to be a surprised look. This piece of black jade talisman recorded in Bone Dark Lord, is not the general shapeshift great art great treasure, but equivalent to protect shapeshift great art puppet general, very spiritual shapeshift great art great treasure. This shapeshift great art great treasure, refining success, as if he now control mind devouring bug, he can be read controls by his heart and obey his commands. And this black jade talisman says that the black bone dark lord can be refined with the complete bones of the cultivator and the monster beast, and the refining black bone dark lord will only be lower than the original naked body. The strength of the third layer cultivation base. That is to say, after the bones of the golden core fourth layer cultivator, the black bone dark lord, the strength of the black bone dark lord, the cultivator of the equivalent to the golden core first layer, the monster beast of the level 7 upper grade after becoming a black bone dark lord, the strength is also equal to the level of high level monster beast. As soon as I saw these instructions on the black jade talisman, Weisuo's mind almost immediately thought of the body of primal chaos Yunwei in his hand. Later, the four-arm primal chaos Yunwei evolved from the queen silver scale monster beast, but at least level 8 or more, if it can be made into this black bone dark lord, then at least level 7 low grade the strength of the monster beast. Level 7's monster beast, but even the cultivator of the golden core first layer may not be able to deal with it. At the thought of this, Weisuo immediately looked at the contents of this black jade slip. Soon, on his face, there was another surprise. This black jade slip records black bone dark lord, which is the shapeshift great art of shapeshift great art. The shapeshift great art is quite powerful, and it will form corresponding powerful energy according to the materials of refining. The black smoldering fire, but its weakness is that the naked body is somewhat fragile and cannot withstand the violent shocks and collisions, so it is recommended to use the tough shin bone refining. This is not the right thing for Weisuo. The bones of his primal chaos Yunwei also seem to absorb the two naked shapeshift great art great treasures tire naked body, and the toughness seems to be more than the average Dao rank shapeshift great art great treasure. Of Underworld Yin Crystal, No Root Grass, Black Hoof Lotus. Weisuo immediately decided to refine the shapeshift great art great treasure and saw some of the auxiliary materials needed to refine the shapeshift great art great treasure. Now in the hands of Weisuo's, the advanced artifact refinement material and the refiner's shapeshift great art are all lacking. The materials in the little heavenly realm that are so many silver scale monsters and primal chaos Yunwei have not yet been refining, and Weisuo is now on hand. Dao rank high grades golden shapeshift great art great treasure, there are already 3 pieces, usually against the enemy, plus Jia, are enough. But this black bone dark lord is different. This shapeshift great art great treasure, when it comes to the enemy, but as long as the order is made, there is no need to spend Weisuo's true yuan, no controls are needed, and the equivalent to is more than empty. A powerful helper. What is it? At this time, in the quiet room of the secret place of Weisuo, the shapeshift great art for the sound transmission, and the brilliance, there is no slightest stop. Weisuo, a true yuan hit the shapeshift on the great art, ask for surging sound. Elder Wei, great elder sent someone to send something to say that the elders gave Elder Wei, and maybe some secret places for Elder Wei after the shapeshift great art great treasure of the sound transmission class was inspired by Weisuo. The usual time was waiting outside the Weisuo's residence, and the surging sound of C immortal sect disciple Linzai Uxian, which was always waiting to be heard, was immediately transmitted. Send something, what? Weisuo had a strange departure from the residence. Upon seeing Weisuo, Linzai Uxian, who was waiting outside, immediately handed a treasure receiving pocket to Weisuo. Weisuo took the treasure receiving pocket and returned to the quiet room to take out the things in the treasure receiving pocket. I saw something in the treasure receiving pocket, a white jade box, a piece of golden wood, a silver bead, and a yellow jade-like naked body. Weisuo, this is good fortune Dao pill. Inside the white jade box is a long-eyed great treasure, the vermilion medicine pill, which has 2 naturally formed, squid-like patterns with a scent of scent. Weisuo didn't recognize what it was at all, but Jia recognized it all at once, and there was a blush on the face of Jade. Clever wife, this good fortune Dao pill, what kind of medicine pill is, what is the effect, what are you doing blush, because Jia has a thin face. Weisuo has always called her name outside, but the lust of the 2 people together, Weisuo is generally called Jia clever wife. This good fortune Dao pill is the power of the great treasure to supplement the yuan yin yuan. In general, the cultivator of the culture dual enhanced shapeshift great art, no matter which person takes this medicine pill, the effect will be many times better after a while. Jia blushes and explains, this elder must have seen that you have repaired the shapeshift great art of dual cultivation before sending this medicine pill to you. Oh! When Weisuo heard Jia say this, he immediately got excited and said to Jia with some squinting eyes, clever wife, would you like to try it now? I knew you would say that. Jia suddenly got a red and white. Weisuo, you will finish the business first. What's the matter? Weisuo immediately he smiled. This is the promotion of the cultivation base. Isn't that the right thing? Okay, I said, but you Jia is infinitely shy. You have to read at least what the rest of the things are. Well, clever wife, this is what you said. After reading these things, take the time to study. This, well, our culture has been stopped for many days. I have to add fuel to make up. After saying this sentence, Jiya's jade face is even more blushing, only to see Wei Suo's eyebrows open, alive with hope, and quickly look at the other three things. The golden wood, the great treasure, is a long piece of wood. It looks like real wood. It is obviously wood, but it has a thick thunder glow atmosphere. It is very strange. Silver beads, very crystal clear, look like crystal, without any rune, unlike medicine pill, nor what shape-shift great art beads, but there is a hidden layer of blue light. The jade-like yellow nephrite-shaped naked body is placed in front of the eyes, and there is a grassy fragrance, which is lighter than amber, and seems to be very soft. It should be able to cut a piece of nails. Clever wife, these three things, do you know what it is? These three things. Wei Suo looked at it carefully, but they couldn't see it. What is this? I don't know, I have never seen it. Fang Xin is jumping around, some unconsciously thinking about what will happen soon, and Jiya, who is hot and red, shook his head. What makes Jiya even more embarrassed is that, as soon as she heard her answer, Wei Suo immediately took a hurry to take time, took out ghost raising jar quickly, and quickly poured a drop of fire earth dragon into it. What, called me out. Recently, Origin Chi has suffered a lot. Your yin corpse sex good looks don't work. I haven't got a purple demon infant to restore Origin Chi. Green-robed old man's unhappy surging sound, immediately rang. What is the name of my yin corpse section? Upon hearing the words of green-robed old man, Wei Suo suddenly rolled one's eyes. When green-robed old man watched the excitement and participated in the auction, a pair of Origin Chi was enough. Now let him come out to help him see something. He knows to cherish Origin Chi. Well. Golden Thunder Divine Wood? Wei Suo, how did you get this thing? Are you on the way back, but also by the way, killing people? I am in the ghost raising jar, I don't feel the violent Origin Chi fluctuations, I don't feel the violent fight between you and the person shapeshift great art. But before Wei Suo said anything, green-robed old man's figure emerged. As soon as he saw something in Wei Suo's hand, green-robed old man suddenly looked at his eyes. Golden Thunder Divine Wood. Core Breaking Bead. This is Core Breaking Bead. Wei Suo, how did you get this thing? This is Heaven Yuan Jade Cicada. Wei Suo only raised the golden wood on his hand, and hadn't had time to ask green-robed old man what the Golden Thunder Divine Wood was. Green-robed old man's eyes were even more great treasure. Like the ducks that lived in the throat, the screaming and screaming again and again. Old man, these things are given to me by some elders of Sea Immortal section. After Wei Suo and Jiya looked at each other, they couldn't help but look at green-robed old man. Look at your reaction. These should be good things, but can you tell me what it is? Then call again. Path to Heaven. Author, Wu Zy. Chapter 380. Chapter 380. You don't want a cow. Vertical novels, handwritten novels. Green-robed old man heard Wei Suo saying this, suddenly shouted, you are awkward, you believe it or not, I will tell you something inside, you have to call. Really? Wei Suo looked at green-robed old man very much. You tell me anything. All right. Green-robed old man took a surging sound and clicked on the jade-like yellow nephrite-shaped naked body in Wei Suo's hand. He said, you listen, this thing is called Heaven Yuan Jade. Cicada, like amber, is an ancient sap of the lingering wood. It is a natural shape of this jade. The most great treasure's effect is to adjust chi and blood, warm divine soul, enhance the naked body, and the drug is very mild. Can be said to be the most suitable for now Han Wei, this thing to Han Wei take down, what other spiritual herb do not need to, and estimated at the latest a day or two, Han Wei will certainly sober up a mess, not 35 days, Han Wei on the life of Dragon Tiger, and I saw her when the same time, maybe naked body quality will slowly become better than before and not necessarily. As soon as I heard green-robed old man say, Jiya couldn't help but screamed. To know Han Wei many times in her eyes, are more important than her own, and ji yakir Han Wei these days, is very clear that her body naked, even Han Wei immediately wake up, if not this thing, Han Wei naked body quality to restore to the same as before, slowly nursed back, the estimate is not a few months of time, but also do not. However, Wei Suo is a little surging sound, and no surging sound is called. Why, you can go to Han Wei hard, now she is finally being rescued by you, are you not excited? The reaction of Wei Suo made green-robed old man a bit stunned and couldn't help but ask the sentence. Excited, why not be excited? Wei Suo looked at Ji Ya and green-robed old man, laughed. But I am not good at calling. I don't usually call it when I am excited. Wei Suo said that Ji Ya's face suddenly became red in his neck, and he could not wait for Wei Suo's foot, but he was afraid of what green-robed old man thought of, bowed his head and didn't look at Wei Suo. However, she has underestimated the tacit understanding of green-robed old man and Wei Suo's. How do I know if you call it or not? Anyway, you are standard and have no sex, and never let me see green-robed old man immediately said this in aggression. Wei Suo looks at Ji Ya's shy look. Now I feel like a nouveau riche. The first beauty of Spirit Peak City, who thought it would be my wife, was so shy in front of me. After a sneak peek, Wei Suo was very despised and looked at green-robed old man. Okay, I promised you anyway. Then I will help you to shape yourself. Wait for yourself. Neck naked body. At that time, I will borrow more from spiritual stones. How do you want to see it yourself? Now let me talk about the other two things. This golden thunder divine wood, alone refining, has no effect, but if you get a pure void vine together with refining, there is a possibility of great treasure. You can repair thunder spirit root, wood spiritual root at the same time. Now that Wei Suo has succeeded in core formation, it has become the golden core stage cultivator. Green-robed old man is afraid of his remorse. No matter how he is condensed, green-robed old man is no longer nonsense. I immediately clicked on the golden wood in the hands of Wei Suo. Ray, wood dual spiritual roots? So smart. This thing is not even recorded in the piece of ancient talisman I got. Wei Suo this is a bit stunned. He is now a spiritual roots cultivator, and he has built a spiritual roots. Of course, it is clear that there is a good secret place for the spiritual roots to have more great treasure for the cultivator. And even the body of the little heavenly realm on the ice column, with a jade talisman with a record of the spiritual roots, knows that the spiritual roots are highly valued in the cultivation world from ancient times to today. Only the spiritual roots cultivator knows the good secret place of this spiritual roots. Golden thunder divine wood and pure void vine, both of which are extremely rare, and pure void vine is said to be useful for the divine mystic realm cultivator. The general cultivator is not exposed to this kind of thing, and it is normal to not record it. Green-robed old man looked at Wei Suo. But since you already have this golden thunder divine wood in your hand, you can inquire about this pure void vine. After all, if you can make 2 more spiritual veins, your speed is faster, but it's going to be a few more. You said this thing is called core breaking bead. What is it? Wei Suo smiled and folded up golden thunder divine wood and pinched the remaining silver beads. Core breaking bead is the Tian shift zone, our refining shapeshift great art. I don't know what this shapeshift great art machine is made of. The god lust of green-robed old man suddenly became very dignified. But this kind of thing is specially used to deal with the golden core stage cultivator. One hits the golden core stage cultivator's golden core sunlight will burst. And its powerful energy is no less than the annihilation golden core that you refine. It's just that the explosion of this thing is relatively small, just for a golden core stage cultivator. There is such a thing, as long as the other party uses golden core to deal with you, even if the golden core powerful energy exceeds your golden core cultivator, you must also eat great treasure on your thing. This kind of thing was originally used to deal specifically with the golden core cultivator, so the name is called core breaking bead. Weisuo, see immortal sect, these elders give you these things, I definitely want to understand. Yin Corp sect still dare not have great treasure action, and you are still scolding yourself. Try to help you, it is more beneficial to see immortal section, but in these things, only the weight of this thing is the heaviest, because this thing is what can be called life-saving. The elder who sent you this thing is the most sincere to you. Power is no less than the shape-shift great art beads of the annihilation golden core. Weisuo and Jiya couldn't help but look at each other, took a deep breath. No, but green-robed old man immediately remembered what it was like, correcting that the elders of Sea Immortal sect, at most, are only the cultivation base of the thought division realm. Even if they are against the golden core cultivator, they may not be able to force the golden core cultivator. Offer golden core. Therefore, this thing, left in the hands of this elder, may not be a life-saving thing, not to give you meat. In any case, this thing for me is nothing more than a bottom of the box. Weisuo nodded and looked at the silver beads in his hand. How is this bead inspired? Consistently quote True Yuan, it is shot toward the other side of the golden core. Green-robed old man explains, it's very simple to use, and it's no different from the low-level shape-shift great art, such as blasting pearl. Just pay attention to the fact that you can use it at least when you can at least collide with the other party's golden core sunlight or golden core, otherwise, the shapeshift great art bead will be wasted. How does Heaven Yuan Jade Cicada use shapeshift great art? Weisuo clicked on Heaven Yuan Jade Cicada, who had been stuffed into Jiya. Choose directly with clear water. This will raise Heaven Yuan Jade Cicada. It will slowly turn into a liquid medicine, and then let her swallow it directly. As qi and blood flow, the medicine will slowly open. Her current lust shape is the best. Known after. Weisuo nodded, he grabbed ghost raising jar. Weisuo, you, green-robed old man stunned and seemed to react immediately. Next, Weisuo was going to do something and called it up. But just after calling surging sound, I saw Weisuo loading the ghost raising jar into the treasure receiving pocket. Weisuo, after Jiya smashed, the jade face was red again, and he turned to run out. I went to raise Heaven Yuan Jade Cicada. Clever wife, let's finish what we just said, but she was immediately taken by Weisuo. I don't want it. Jiya immediately shook his head and said, I have to take care of Heaven Yuan Jade Cicada. If you don't want to squat, sighed. You. Looking at Jiya's infinitely shy look, Weisuo is even more foolish, burning with the desire. Who is it? But at this time, what made him extremely depressed was that the bell-shaped shapeshift great art for sound transmission glowed again. There is nothing special, they will not bother you. Weisuo was tempted to smash the bell-shaped shapeshift great art, but Jiya was significantly more sensible than he was, and he immediately said this to him. What is it? Hearing what Jiya said, Weisuo was so depressed that he inspired the bell-shaped shapeshift great art of the sound transmission. Elder Wei, the surging sound of the Sea Immortal sect disciple named Linzai Uxian, immediately rang. The famous Wang family businesses disciple said that they are the king's treasurer, there are 100,000 things to look for. Wang the treasurer have an urgent need to find me, Weisuo stunned. The Wang treasurer now knows his identity, and Weisuo is not surprised at all, because he knows that with his revelal tone and the knowledge of the king's treasurer, it is absolutely impossible to guess that core formation's cultivator is his own. What surprised him was that what happened to Wang's treasurer at the moment would be looking for him. After a little hesitation, Weisuo's face showed a more depressed table lust. And Jiya's mouth is a revelal of a resounding smile. Now Weisuo and Jiya don't even know the secret place white robes. When two people want to come, the king treasurer is eager to find Weisuo at this moment. It is likely that there is something urgent about Yin Corp's section lust, otherwise he would like to find Weisuo. It should not say that there are hundreds of thousands of urgent things. When encountering such a thing, Weisuo naturally did not delay the shapeshift great art. It was interrupted again for a culture, and I will make one more time after I come back. I will go out first to see what the Wang treasurer is looking for. I can see that Jia is a bit of a disaster, and Wei Suo's eyes turn, but his words are made to make her more red-hot. Clever wife, wait for me to come back. After a quick kiss with Jia, in the screaming surging sound of Jia, Wei Suo flashed and swept out. Path to Heaven. Author, Wu Ziyi. Chapter 381. Chapter 381 Water Kylan King Seal. A yellow light flew over the sea, and suddenly the yellow light was collected and fell on an uninhabited island full of red shrubs. Vertex novels, handwriting novels. The cultivator that fell into this small island is a dress of a green sorcerer, the king of the Wang family business. After standing on an open space, I saw the 4 secret places of the king's treasurer constantly looking. It seemed to be looking for someone, and immediately, the eyes flashed a look of surprise. The king treasurer, don't come innocent. On the other side of the sea, there was a sudden burst of water, which formed the shape of a lotus platform. The young man in the secret place white robe came out from the lotus platform of the sea water condense. The young man in white robe is still playing with the little white shape-shift great art, and a thick water spirit chi is rushing through his body. His face is still a tall man. It seems to be a natural and superior look. You are fellow deist Lin, the king's treasurer immediately showed a vigilant look, his eyes sweeping, and his face was more intense. The king's treasurer is good, remember me. The white robe young man caressed the white unicorn in his hand and smiled. He said, where you are looking for sea immortal sect, the cloud spirit continent is the youngest golden core great treasure cultivator elder Wei. Don't worry, estimate at the latest, there will be a stick of incense time, and he will also arrive at this secret place. Fellow deist Lin, how do you know that elder Wei has been here for me? The king's treasurer stunned. Did you and elder Wei also have an intercourse lust? You will be wrong with the king treasurer. The white robe young man shook his head and glanced at the king's treasurer. You and the Wei Suo, I arranged for this secret place. What? The king's treasurer suddenly changed his face, and his heart felt a little uncomfortable. After a quick flash of his eyes, the king's treasurer reached out and directly presented a peach-like appearance of the yellow flying shape-shift great art, and a silver short-shaped shape-shift great art great treasure. Fellow deist Lin, what do you mean by doing this? It doesn't make sense. This Wei Suo should have been the last auction, bought Jineo Deo pill, and the cultivator that grabbed the piece with me. I just want to kill this person, and take the piece back. The white robe young man smiled lightly. How do you know, elder Wei? Will he come? When the king's shopkeeper heard the words of the young man in the white robe, he said a little white. Because I was the one who told you the Wang family business to inform him, saying that you have an urgent arrival in this secret place, he should not be suspicious. You. After the face of the king's shopkeeper changed a few times, the corner of the eye slightly twitched, and no longer said, directly inspired the silver short stick shape-shift great art great treasure. I saw this silvery stick that grows 1 foot long and changed the great treasure at an alarming rate. It became a silver pillar that could be held by a dozen people, all of which were covered with a head tiger's rune. This silver giant column, squatting toward the white robe young man. At the same time, a small circle of yellow light appeared on the peach leaf-shaped feather shift great art great treasure under his feet, and he fled directly to the direction of sea immortal city. The king treasurer, with your cultivation base, if you want to go, it is still too difficult. Seeing this lust scene, the young man in white robe smiled and pointed a little. A lotus-shaped transparent water condensed out of the air, easily holding the silver short stick shape-shift great art great treasure. At the same time, a white light flew out of his hand. When the white light was shot, it looked like a white silk scarf, only a few feet long, but in an instant it turned into a wall-like water wall with a height of several feet, and suddenly the king treasurer was trapped inside. Pa! A surging sound exploded, only to see that the king's shopkeeper quickly ignited a cyan divine light screen, but the divine light screen was pressed by the water wall, but it was immediately crushed. Seeing this lust scene, the king's shopkeeper with a panic look is in a hurry to inspire other shape-shift great art great treasures, but in this moment, a few looming blues are shot from behind him, and the blue light flashes. Underneath, he penetrated into his naked body. As soon as these blue silks were stabbed in, the eyes of the king's treasurer were filled with horror and burning, and all the spiritual chi fluctuations disappeared. Under the water wall, now the cultivation base has reached the king of the thought division realm fourth layer, and it was directly rolled into the front of the white-robe young man. The white-robe young man reached out and the water wall turned into a translucent white silk scarf that flew back into his hand. At the same time, the silver short stick-shaped shape-shift great art great treasure was also caught by him. In his hand, the king's treasurer, who was restrained by him, fell softly on the ground in front of him. This Wei Suo didn't let me wait, it wasn't slow. After the king's treasurer was restrained, the young white robes did not look at the king's treasurer, but looked at the sky from the secret place, put away the white silk scarf and silver short stick, and said the white seal in his hand. One sentence. At this moment, in the sky of the secret place, there has been a group of amazing black-red brilliance, flying at an astonishing speed toward the island where he and the king's treasurer are located. When it was a few miles away from the island, the black-red brilliance stopped, which was the Chi fire boat of the Reverend Fire Cloud. On the Chi fire boat, Wei Suo, whose face was a bit sullen, looked at the island motionless. At this moment, the young man in white robe and the king treasurer who fell softly in front of him, Wei Suo has already seen it clearly. Now he does not know what the situation is, but it is obvious that this white robe young man and he is an enemy and a friend. And his aura determining technique was swept away, but it seemed to be bounced off by a sparkling water. He couldn't see the naked body cultivation base of this white robe young man, but by intuition, Wei Suo is sure that this white robe young man is definitely the great treasure cultivator of Golden Core stage. The age of this white robe young man seems to be similar to him. Suddenly such a Golden Core cultivator suddenly makes his heart very suspicious. I know that he was very clear before, Cloud Spirit Continent is fundamental. I didn't go to the cultivator of the Golden Core stage before I was 30. Moreover, this young man in white robe looked at him, and naturally he was on the top. It seemed to be a look at him as a plaything in the palm of his hand, which made him feel very uncomfortable. It seems that you are Wei Suo. Just in the heart of Wei Suo, when he looked at the young man in white robe with amazement, the young man in white robe smiled. He said this first. I am Wei Suo. I don't know what your origins are, and what is the relationship with this king treasurer. Is the king treasurer being held by you? Wei Suo did not move the surging sound to look at the white robe young man and nodded. My name is Lin Fenghua. As for my origin, you don't need to know. The white robe young man smiled and said, we have already had a face before, and the wonderful tree fragments, you should bring it with you at the moment. As for the king treasurer, there is no secret place for me. And there is more than one treasurer of the great treasure business, maybe even more help for me to find something good. His life, I will definitely stay, until this time, I will naturally let him go back safely. Now I don't let him go, but there should be some secret place between us. I don't want him to return to Sea Immortal City, then find some of your Sea Immortal sex who, disturbing our yaxing. Speaking of this sentence, I saw only the young white robe reaching out, a group of water-like transparent brilliance hit the head of the king's treasurer. The king's treasurer, who did not have the slightest resistance, was just a glimpse of his head, and immediately passed out. Yaxing? I don't have any yaxing for you. Wei Suo took a look at the young man in white robe. It seems that I and the Wang treasurer are here. Are you also arranged it? Really? The white robe young man smiled and said, I don't know when it comes to the topic of ancient artifact spirit. Have you come to yaxing? In the white robe young people want to come. Heard him say this, Wei Suo must face the great treasure change, open the skylight to speak, but let him stay, Wei Suo shook his head directly, no interest. If nothing happens, I will go first. Speaking of it, actually inspired Chi fire boat, flying directly to the direction of Sea Immortal City. The faintness of the air also revealed his surging sound. There is something wrong with the ancient artifact spirit. There is no interest at all. The white-robed young man suddenly had the feeling of dressing himself up as a fool. After staying for a while, he suddenly changed his face. I want to go, it's not so easy. The coldly surging sound sounds at the same time. The figure is white, the white-robed young man rises up, a transparent water lotus that is more than Chi fire boat, and the transparent water lotus, from the front to the Chi fire boat hit it. Boom, a surging sound, a golden lightning bolt with a giant great treasure lion head hangs from the air and lingers on the transparent water lotus. Under the impact, the two spread out, sputtering out numerous water arrows and jumping electric lights. Chi fire boat instantly passes through these water arrows and electric lights. I said that I am not interested in you. Are you still entangled in me and do not want to do anything? Wei Suo's surging sound was also transmitted. Since you are crazy and stupid, then I am too lazy to talk nonsense with you. The white-robed young man, who claimed to be named Lin Fenghua, sneered a surging sound, his fingers bounced, and his white little print in his hand flew out of his hand. I saw this white small print with the white water spirit Yuan Qi of the Great Treasure Group. In a moment, a white unicorn was formed in front of him, and a surging sound that exudes supreme majesty was issued. This white unicorn is no different from the white unicorn shape on this white small print. It is a scent of the king, and the water spirit Qi condense a circle of spiral white clouds. But now the white unicorn, but the length is more than 5 feet, the body of the strong treasure, terrifying a mess. Qi. Inspired by this small white print, countless origin Qi hangs from the sky, condense a water arrow in front of the young man in the secret place white robe. What happened? How is such a strong water spirit Qi, such a sharp origin Qi wave? When Wei Suo came out of Sea Immortal City, he also brought ghost raising jar on his body, but because it was during the day, green-robed old man did not come out. At this moment, this white-robed young man inspired shapeshift great art great treasure, and shapeshift great art. Even green-robed old man was directly alarmed, exclaiming surging sound rang in Wei Suo's ears. Water Kylan King Seal. Immediately, green-robed old man issued a surging sound that was stunned by the throat's incredible surging sound. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Path to Heaven. Author, Wu Ziyi. Chapter 382. Chapter 382 Three Emperors Great Extinction Technique. If you want to call, I will tell you what kind of thing it is. Vertex Novels hit the novel. Wei Suo was a little speechless and took a golden shapeshift great art great treasure. Then he was the white unicorn that pressed down at the same time, inspiring the two golden shapeshift great art great treasure in his hand. Now that the water Kylan King Seal is coming out, Wei Suo feels that even the surrounding sea water seems to have the same spirituality. This shapeshift great art great treasure does not require green-robed old man to call. Wei Suo knows that it is definitely the extremely powerful shapeshift great art great treasure, but now the key is what level of shapeshift great art great treasure, how to deal with it. Wei Suo, don't use these two shapeshift great art great treasures. This is not the case. Green-robed old man is immediately a surging sound great treasure. What? Wei Suo almost fell down. Because at this time, Wei Suo has inspired two offensive golden shapeshift great art great treasures. The golden shapeshift great art great treasure of his right hand flashed on the golden light, and the boom surging sound in the sky slammed into a dazzling giant great treasure golden lightning, and the left-handed golden shapeshift great art great treasure also shot at the same time. A golden crystal light column. This let Wei Suo immediately be stunned. When the golden lightning and golden crystal light of the giant treasure rushed to the white unicorn, the white unicorn looked up and showed a very majestic look. Then it was great. A treasure mouth, a great treasure mouth will be connected with the golden lightning and the golden crystal light column, as if the golden lightning and the crystal light column of the giant great treasure are eaten in one bite. Immediately, a transparent water-like origin chi rushed up, and the golden lightning and golden crystal light column of the giant great treasure was quickly digested, and the white unicorn, which was originally about 5 feet long, was naked body. However, it expanded again and became a length of about 6 feet. Laugh. A surging sound, the secret place of the white robes, the 3-foot-long transparent water sword condensed in front of the young man, suddenly disappeared from the air. The moment of disappearing, the place where the transparent water sword was originally, the 3 groups of water spirit Yuan Qi, condensed 3 images of the imperial person wearing a battle armor and flowing with water. Water Emperor Excalibur. This is the Water Emperor Excalibur. Seeing such a scene, green-robed old man screamed again and again. At this time, Wei Suo was burning with the tears, and wanted to marry the heart of ghost-raising jar. Because the transparent water sword of the young man's secret place disappeared instantly, a powerful energy of the giant treasure was already in front of Wei Suo's. Obviously, this God's secret place white robe young man's Dao technique shapeshift great art is a strange teleport class shapeshift great art. The attack speed is extremely amazing. At this time, Wei Suo's did not react slowly. It directly took the 2 golden shapeshift great art great treasures and took out another defensive gold shapeshift great art great treasure and Ruyi exquisite pagoda. Ruyi exquisite pagoda. In the flash of white light, Wei Suo figured out at the moment when the place disappeared, only to see the transparent water sword, and the place where Wei Suo was originally placed. However, after the transparent water sword was hollowed out, it did not disappear, but it was a flash and disappeared in place. Wei Suo's figure has just appeared in a secret place outside the dozens of feet. The transparent water sword is behind Wei Suo's. This transparent water sword, which is clearly condensed by shapeshift great art, is like a real flying sword, even more flexible than the real flying sword, and the speed is astonishing. Ka. I saw this, Wei Suo, who has a shapeshift great art great treasure like Ruyi exquisite pagoda, couldn't dodge it, and it was able to inspire the golden shapeshift great art great treasure in his hand, and turned out a golden mask, a transparent water sword. Already on the golden mask. And with a surging sound cracking. The transparent water sword and the golden glaze are shattered at the same time. The powerful energy of this transparent water sword is also up to the level of Dao rank high grade shapeshift great art great treasure. This time, but Wei Suo's heart chills, watching the white robe young people very casual look, it seems that they have not used their full strength. But the white robe young man also swept Wei Suo, and he seemed to feel that Wei Suo had some meaning and a lot of good things. Wei Suo, miserable, this is terrible. I did not expect this water Kylin King seal to be passed down. Just when Wei Suo couldn't help but greet green-robed old man's mother, green-robed old man finally said with extreme fear, Water Kylin King seal, is the shapeshift great art of mystic rank middle grade treasure. Although it has no attack power, it can wash away and devour all kinds of origin chi. And the artifact spirit in the Water Kylin King seal is made with an advanced Water Kylin that can independently control this shapeshift great art great treasure. This Water Emperor is the Heaven Port great art of the Heaven level mid-level, and it can be killed like the flying sword. Wei Suo, look at this shapeshift great art great treasure, it's perfect. This shapeshift great art great treasure is the same age as me, that is to say, this guy also got a cultivator of ancient artifact spirit. No wonder you can get to know the wonderful tree fragments, and looking at his technique shapeshift great art, it is possible to get the inheritance of 3 sovereign sect from the mouth of this artifact spirit. Don't have 3 emperors great extinction technique. Otherwise, this time, we may not even escape if we escape. 3 emperors great extinction technique, What is shapeshift great art? Wei Suo heard green-robed old man say so, just want to ask such a sentence. Whoosh. At this time, among the countless squats of the young man in the white robe, there was a striking water spirit Yuan Qi that was visible to the naked eye. This kind of scene gives people a naked body that seems to be a gas-filled skin, which instantly becomes a hundred-hole sore feeling. With the amazing water spirit Yuan Qi's shooting, the secret place of the young man in the white robe disappeared from the place, and the secret place was not far behind Wei Suo's. His idling speed seems to be even faster than Yin Corp Sec's strongest shapeshift great art bloodlight escape. Laugh. As soon as his figure appeared, he immediately condensed a water emperor sword in front of him, and in a flash, he went to Wei Suo's. Pa! A surging sound burst. This time the ugly Wei Suo did not dodge, but suddenly sacrificed his door-flying sword. Under hard spell, his door-flying sword was the earthquake flew backwards, and the water emperor sword from the young white robe was chopped up by the hard-boiled. Master, the shapeshift great art array on this flying sword is ancient's multiple shapeshift great art array. This shapeshift great art array has long since been lost. This person must have an ancient artifact spirit at this time. A majestic surging sound was heard from the white unicorn mouth above the head of the young man in the secret place white robe. Oh! God's secret place! The young man in the white robe was holding his hand and grabbed it. He took the silver short stick shapeshift great art great treasure in the hands of the king, and looked at Wei Suo indifferently. The trial said, Wei Suo, if you obediently come out of artifact spirit intercourse on your body and succumb to me, I might consider taking your life. Okay, I will show it to you. Something unexpectedly, the young man in the white robe, Wei Suo nodded as soon as he heard it, then reached out and grabbed a black-red small flag. Then, I saw Wei Suo, a true Yuan sneaked in, and the black-red small flag immediately popped up with a breathtaking black and red flame. Around the body, condense a black and red fire lotus shape. Then, Wei Suo inspired the golden defense shapeshift great art great treasure, forming a golden mask outside him. Do you dare to tease me? The white unicorn and the white robe young people saw Wei Suo igniting the black and red small flag. They all looked at it again. Now they see Wei Suo igniting the golden mask. The young white robes reacted. Wei Suo took it out, not at all. What has the shapeshift great art great treasure of artifact spirit is just to provoke the shapeshift great art great treasure. After a reaction, the face of the young white robe suddenly showed a strange cold look. Wait a moment, I know very well. Seeing that the young man in white robe was about to start, Wei Suo suddenly said something like this. The figure of green-robed old man emerged from his chest and floated in front of him. Oh! This time, it is another great treasure out of the white robe young and white unicorn accident. Yin fire spirit, just looking at green-robed old man, the face of white unicorn, suddenly appeared a trace of disdain. Look down. It seems that what we expected is really good. The white robe young man looked at green-robed old man, who looked scared. He asked indifferently, Kailan King, what do you mean by Yin fire spirit? Yin fire spirit is a low-grade artifact spirit made with low grades yin and some low-grade fire attribute monster beast divine soul. This artifact spirit is generally used on the lowest level of shapeshift great art great treasure, and it does not flow at all. There is no ability to control shapeshift great art great treasure. White unicorn disdainful martyrdom. Yes, but this artifact spirit is a long time, and it should be some secret place. The white robe young man looked at Wei Suo and green-robed old man indifferently. You should also see the origins of me and Kailan King now. If so, you want to body and soul entirely exterminated, or return to me. Under one person, above 10,000 people. True Wei Suo nodded very much for the bachelor. It seems that you have the inheritance of 3 sovereign sect, plus this shapeshift great art great treasure. The strength is indeed amazing. But you should also see that I also have some means. If you don't have 3 emperors great extinction technique, you may not be able to eat me. Oh! The white-robed young man's mouth has a playful table lust, and some look at Wei Suo. You mean, I will be the three emperors' great extinction technique, you will return to me, I will not, you still want to work hard with me? If the old man knows it, the three emperors' great extinction technique is the heaven-level top rank with the shapeshift great art great treasure. It is a devastating P-shift great art great treasure. Instantly, it delivers amazingly powerful energy. Powerful energy can even exceed the rank 2 of shapeshift great art great treasure itself. Wei Suo immediately went on to say, in addition to the three emperors' great extinction technique, I have to look at how many shapeshift great art great treasures above Dao rank. If there are less than 4 or 5 shapeshift great art great treasures above Dao rank low grade, I don't necessarily have to get me. Kailan King is the great treasure of the town of ancient 3 sovereign section. I got it, and the equivalent to get the full inheritance of 3 sovereign section. How could this 3 emperors great extinction technique? You are optimistic about yourself. White robe young proudly sneer at a surging sound, see its hands green, white 2-color magnificent light flashes between, the hand pinched the silver short stick like shapeshift great art great treasure towards Wei Suo, in flight origin before the distance of 5 or 6 feet, bang a surging sound burst, silver short stick like shapeshift great art great treasure instantly blown to pieces, into a terrifying silver light mission. The next one is still tomorrow at 10 o'clock in the morning. Path to Heaven. Author, Wu Zy. Chapter 383. Chapter 383 Can't Kill You. Ka. More than the Wisuo's people, a little silvery light cluster, a sudden impact on the golden mask outside the Weisuo, the golden mask was smashed, and the silver light group became a myriad of scattered open silver streamer. Vertex novels, handwriting novels. The silver short strap shapeshift great art great treasure of the king's treasurer, when it was only displayed, is the powerful energy of Dao rank. Now it breaks the golden mask of Dao rank high grade against powerful energy. Obviously the power of the group silver light group is also the shapeshift great art great treasure powerful energy of Dao rank high grade. 3 Emperors great extinction technique. As soon as I saw this scene, I saw that Wei Suo and green-robed old man were so excited and tempted to call a surging sound. The white-robed young man's eyes flashed in his eyes, and his left hand stretched out on the silver bracelet of his right hand. He saw a strange silver bracelet on a section, and a white light great treasure, like a treasure receiving. In general, pocket has more than 30 pieces of shapeshift great art great treasure. Obviously, the white robe young people are doing this, just want to put these shapeshift great art great treasure in their hands, let Wei Suo see it clearly, and see that he has 3 emperors great extinction technique. There are enough and the amount of shapeshift great art great treasure cooperation. In the imagination of him and the white unicorn, as soon as he saw so many shapeshift great art great treasures, Wei Suo and green-robed old man were scared to death, and then they must surrender completely. This is more than 30 shapeshift great art great treasures, and there are at least 3 or 4 pieces in it, which is the shapeshift great art great treasure above Dao rank. Ah! Blood spirit old ancestor. But at this time, Wei Suo and green-robed old man, suddenly simulantly looked at the rear of the white-robed young man, issued a surging sound exclaimed. The white-robed young man and the white unicorn couldn't help but subconsciously turned around and watched it, but at this time, Wei Suo immediately raised his hand and inspired 2 golden shapeshift great art great treasures. In the boom surging sound, I saw a golden lightning of a giant great treasure and a golden crystal beam, and flocked to the white unicorn. Do you still dare to be an enemy with me? The white-robed young man reacted and his eyes flashed an incredible look. Are you an idiot? The face of the white unicorn, all the god's lust, an opened mouth, swallowed the golden lightning and golden crystal light column, and immediately it was a transparent water-like water spirit Yuan-Chi scouring up, flying fast golden lightning and golden crystal light column digested. Fast, it is now, at the same time, the green-robed old man quickly retracted into the arms of Wei Suo's while firing a scream of surging sound. Swallow ah! Support you. At this time, a dazzling flame was also shot from Weisuos. This dazzling brilliance, when flying in the hands of Weisuo, was only a small egg-like great treasure, but when it flew out, it was full of countless light patterns, rune, and the explosion continued. In an instant, it became a terrifying light group that slammed into the white unicorn. Annihilation Golden Core. The white unicorn's naked body expands at an alarming rate, and it is the powerful energy generated by the explosion of the Annihilation Golden Core made by Wei Sanzhen's Golden Core, which is completely swallowed by Weisuo. A water-like mist is constantly washed up, and it is against the powerful energy of the Annihilation Golden Core. It constantly digests and blocks, preventing the powerful energy of this Annihilation Golden Core from spreading. A low-grade artifact spirit that doesn't flow in, actually dare to plot me. Do you think that with this Annihilation Golden Core, can you deal with me? White unicorn's roaring surging sound, listening to what it means, it seems that the most irritating thing at this moment is not Weisuo, but green-robed old man, seems to be such a low-level thing as green-robed old man, dare to deal with it, let it dare to leave the humiliation and anger. Whoever says that low-level ones must not be advanced. But at this time, with the words of Weisuo's, the Golden Core sunlight came out of his eyebrows and saw his great treasure Golden Core, which was very great treasure, was sacrificed by him. Golden Core sunlight instant condensed the shape of an ancient heavenly dragon, also slammed into the white unicorn's naked body. This white unicorn seems to have reached the limit, and it can no longer be suppressed. A surging sound of the bombing, the abdomen is all blown up. A spurt of powerful energy, powerful grease treasure. Ah! A surging sound, screaming surging sound, I saw the white unicorn's body shape quickly shrink, turned into a palm-like great treasure, the body of the spirit-light great treasure lost in the white seal. Kylan King. You are looking for death. Seeing this lust scene, the white-robed young man suddenly issued a surging sound, sternly shouted surging sound. Hong. In his sternly shouted surging sound, I saw a sharp red ring-shaped shape-shift great art great treasure in front of him, caught in his hands, under the blue and white magnificent light flashes, fire the red ring shape-shift great art great treasure also smashed and shattered into a stunning red flame, slamming into the purple golden core that Weisuo pressed against. The powerful energy emitted by the red flame of this group is no less than the appearance of Weisuo's golden core. A Three Emperors Great Extinction technique was used to inspire the red flame of the group. The young man in white robe grabbed a shape-shift great art great treasure in the shape of a cyan jade, and he would continue to display three again. The look of the Emperor's Great Extinction technique. At this time, Weisuo is a raised hand, a black light shot from his hand, it is a blood-feeding shape-shift great art knife. Seeing that the red flame of the red ring exploded on his golden core, a blood light spurted out from the front end of the blood-feeding shape-shift great art knife, without a slight pause and a red flame. A surging sound of boom is muffled, and this group of apparently powerful energy far exceeds the red flame of Dao rank high grade, which is directly smashed by the blood light shot by Weisuo's shape-shift great art knife. The power of blood light, but there are still a lot of looks, directly to the white robe young people. This kind of lust scene, once again out of the expectations of the young white robe, I saw the first time in his eyes flashed a faint look. Within such a short distance, if the Three Emperors Great Extinction technique is used to intercept, the powerful energy of the explosion will damage itself. At this time, the powerful light of the powerful energy has come to him, and he has no time to perform it. Shapeshift Great Art Dodge. A surging sound of, along with its open mouth, countless transparent rays of light, from his heart position. A goose egg great treasure, a small pale blue golden core, rises out. With the golden core's offering, a breath of great treasure, rising, the majestic water spirit Yuan Qi, turned out to be in the shape of a giant great treasure moon in the sky. At the same time, the transparent golden core sunlight is a condense. It looks like a condensed water, wearing a golden armor, holding a long sword, and the 4 transparent waters dancing behind it, like 4 long wings. The spiritual chi, outside the name of the white-robed young man, condense a bright moon, forming a macro great treasure of the sea rising moon. And his golden core sunlight is an image of an imposing underwater emperor. All of this can only be explained by what he has cultivated. It is the real ancient heaven-level gong shape-shift great art. Compared with the spiritual chi shape outside his body, the small purple scattered lotus petals that are now formed by the spiritual chi outside the Weisuo are simply chilling. But the white-robe young man, this golden core one sacrifice, golden core sunlight condense emperor, and blood light a bump, is both collapse, and Weisuo's golden core, mercilessly and his golden core hit, Weisuo then he wants to great treasure out half great treasure small purple golden core is a fierce shock, Weisuo a shiver of appearance, immediately resumed as usual, and his golden sea ore, in the heaven shaking surging sound, was smashed back and flew backwards at the same time. Among the countless niches in his body, he was also shocked by the numerous water spirit chi that was visible to the naked eye. Obviously, although Weisuo's spiritual chi metamorphosis seems to be crippling, the powerful energy of golden core has completely overwhelmed this white-robe young man. Pa! Weisuo's golden core, under the flash, chased it up, and once again hit the golden core of the white-robe young man. Pu! Once again, heaven-shaking surging sound, the white-robe young man who has obviously not been tempered, and the numerous squats in the body, spewed out a purely water-spirited water spirit Yuan Qi. Among the young white robes, all of them were surprised. It seems that until now, he could not believe that Weisuo could completely suppress himself and fight without the power to fight back. Pa! 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 Weisuo forced the young man in white robe to fall into the position of golden core, and he did not hesitate to spur his own great treasure golden core, constantly chasing the golden core of the white robe young man. Boom! I want you to have something elegant. You little white face of this sissy, I still have any yaxing for you. Originally, my clever wife and I had a great treasure of yaxing, and the result was destroyed by you. I can't kill you and me. The 3 sovereign sect heritage is amazing, 3 emperors great extinction technique is amazing. I tell you that this person hates people's waste. I hate people who don't want spiritual stones to be a spiritual stones. Shapeshift great art will damage a shapeshift great art great treasure. This is not a standard. What about the loser? I can't kill you, me. In the bursting of heaven shaking's louding sound, the water spirit mist on the white robe young man was beaten and smashed. Because of the shapeshift great art, his body position automatically opened and closed. It seems that it can alleviate the damage under the violent shock in the naked body, but under the continuous golden core, the white robe young man is still shaken by both nosebleeds. Old man, come out and see. You said that this person has any unique hobby. Facing a man will have a nosebleed. Maybe he has a leg with his great treasure white dog. Weisuo cried as he continued to drive the golden core. Although this golden core impact is extremely uncomfortable for him, he still screams if nothing has happened. Pu. At the same time, Weisuo's words were suspended in the white robe of the white robe, and it seemed to be hit by a small white seal. It also spewed countless water spirit Yuan Qi. It seems that the white unicorn artifact spirit heard Weisuo shouting that it was a great treasure white dog, and it was almost mad at the naked body and died.